Today's a very exciting day because today I got a Harbor Freight Tig Welder and a bottle of argon that costs the same amount of money. Let's get started. After literally years of talking about it, it feels excellent to finally own a TIG welder. And to be honest, this one didn't disappoint. At first I thought it wasn't going to be quite what I was hoping for, but the price was right, so I got it anyway. But getting my hands on it, it's not bad. I mean, it came with the button directly on the TIG torch for controlling it, or the foot pedal, which is great to have options like that. In all honesty, as soon as I fired up the torch, it felt pretty much like any other TIG welder I've ever used. And then the final product, you can't really tell a huge difference. Now, at the end of the day, this one doesn't have all the bells and whistles of a more expensive machine, but I wouldn't use them anyway. So it's obviously a huge pain that you have to have 240 volts and you need an argon bottle. But if you don't want to do that, you could always just use the stick welding function. Ordinarily, when you say Harbor Freight Welder, people assume that you're talking about their 90 amp wire feed. They're completely not the same machine. They're built for different purposes. I mean, just listen to the sound difference in the two welders. The wire feed works without argon. It actually burns the flux inside of the wire in order to make shielding gas. So the welds end up pretty dirty, so you have to clean them off. And then even when you do, they're not that great. Whereas the TIG welder, the welds, you don't even have to touch them when they're done because it uses argon, and they look pretty good pretty much every time. You can imagine my surprise when I opened up the box and I found that this came with 4 gas cups, 4 tips, 4 collets, 2 electrodes, and then 2 backs, so you can weld in tight spaces, or you can just use the full electrode if you want. You could probably tell which one I've been using the most just based off of how black it is. But I've heard a lot of people talk crap about this particular torch, and I haven't had any real problems with it, honestly. I mean, it's maybe a little bit on the cheap side, but we're shopping from Harbor Freight. What do you expect? But a big consideration that's pretty important is that this whole setup was $250. Now, $250 is not a huge expense. I mean, it'd be tough to touch a good MIG welder machine for that amount of money. And you can talk crap about this all you want to, but for you to get a comparable machine from any other manufacturer, it's going to cost way more money. This is just super economical. It's obviously super irritating that you need to have 240 volt. That is just a major stinker. And yeah, argon is not cheap to get started with, but I mean, filling up the bottle is not expensive once you already have it. So overall, definitely a good purchase. I'm not upset about it at all. Should you buy one? I don't think you should get one, because yeah, I paid $250 for it, but sticker price on these things is closer to $500. It's usually over $500. And if you're going to get a TIG welder, you should get an AC/DC one so you can weld aluminum. That's, for me, kind of the whole point of TIG. I really like the machine. The deal fell in my lap, but if it wasn't so good, I never would have bought it. Get something AC/DC, save up the money. If you want a cheap welder, go get the 90 amp wire feed. You should not get a cheap TIG welder. You should get the one that you're going to use, the one with the best capabilities. That's the route you should go. Now, find one of these for $250? Sure, you can pick it up. Somebody was asking me the other day why I call my channel Strange Garage, and this might actually give you a bit of a clue. So this is the controller for my CNC machine. It's pretty much the brain. It doesn't do anything without this controller. And my power supply stopped working today, so I figured, you know what? I can just hook it up to that car battery right there, which is hooked up to a charger, so I have constant voltage. And I ran jumper cables to the controller because I had a sign that I had to have done today. Now, it's pretty strange that I do things that way, isn't it? That's kind of how I do a lot of things, but you know what? Sometimes strange works, and we all need a little bit of strange in our life. So, thanks for doing your part to help make this world a strange place, guys.